Everyone, it's 26 Bond here with a much needed video. I've not done one since the maiden release date for the new live album on Vivo, which I think was the 26th of March. So it's been about 3 weeks. So hope everyone's all right. Everyone's had plenty of metal delivered or bought some nice metal albums from the shops and eBay and traded stuff and bits and bobs like that. I'm going to show you some bits and bobs today. I don't think it's going to be a very particularly long video, but there's just a few little bits that's come through the post recently which I'd like to share with you. The first thing I'd like to share with you is something I don't like very much. Now everyone knows this is Hornbook's Satan 10-inch EP. This is one of the side projects from Profanatica's Paul Ledney. This is Havohej, which is Jehovah spelt backwards. This is a 10-inch mini LP, as I say. You probably can't see it so well because it's very black and not really much to it, as you can see. But it's sort of the aural equivalent of stepping into Hades, basically. There's no songs on it per se. It's just sort of ambient noise and it's a little bit unsettling, so wasn't really sure if it was going to be like that when I ordered it. Well, granted, it didn't cost a lot of coin, but it wasn't something which I was expecting. It was a little bit experimental, and I'm not a huge fan of experimental music. I much prefer my metal to be a little bit more straightforward, maybe a bit more primitive, but it's certainly a curious piece. It's certainly not my best album in my collection, but it's something which is a bit of a talking point. So it's issued by Hell's Headbangers Records. I think you can pick this up on eBay. I think Aphelion Productions based in Scotland do this. So if you're interested in picking something up which isn't your normal black metal, isn't your normal sort of thing from these guys, do just be warned, there aren't any songs on it. So moving on from there, you might have heard of a Japanese death metal band called the Coffins. This is their 2005 album Mortuary in Darkness, which has got an amazing cover. That's the back. Now it is a gatefold album. I've just been listening to this now. It's pretty good. So it's got some pictures of the band in there. They're from Japan, as I say. The vinyl's something special. I've got vinyl number 1 on the old Def deck at the moment, but I'll show you the second album. It's a double album. You get a poster of the album artwork, done by a guy called Chris Moyan. Yeah. Which is quite striking. It's sort of like comic book style, but it's really effective. But the vinyl is something a little bit special. Now this album it's basically new old stock, so it hasn't just come out. It's what's it now? It's 7 years old, this record, but it was sealed new old stock. That's the vinyl. So it's like a luminous green against black sort of swirl pattern, and that's the fourth side. But so from what I've heard so far, I've played the first album, or the first record from the set. It's pretty good. It's a little bit repetitive. It's a little bit dirgy. It's very dirty. If you're a fan of bands like Sob, if you're fans like bands like Necrophagia, stuff like that, it's quite filthy, it's quite dirgy. It's a little bit of bulk thrower in the riffs. It's not technical at all, so it's quite primitive. Try and get your hands on this. It's issued on Creation Records, and packaging wise it's a fantastic record. Still haven't heard the actual second album, and hopefully it'd be good if there's a little bit more variety maybe on the second LP. If you want a bit of grinding primitive death metal, check it out. That's the Coffins. Okay, now everyone knows that there's been a new Cannibal Corpse LP released. Here it is, Torture. Now they've released this in different formats. Now my copy is 300 copies exclusive on a rosewood vinyl. So that's the inner sleeve. So it's got the uncensored sort of version of the graphic with some lyrics. And actually, in terms of the cover, it's a bit of a return to form. It's quite similar in its colours to Visceration Plague, but it's a lot more in Vincent Locke's old, wilder style. Now this is the rosewood vinyl, which is an unusual sort of colour to do it in. It's basically browny red. It's like a rusty colour, which they call rosewood. Now you can get this in red vinyl, you can get it in black vinyl. Some distros are even doing it in their own exclusive colour. I think Nuclear Blast are doing it in, I don't know, splatter or something like that. But this is a real return to form. Actually, I quite liked Visceration Plague. I quite like all their stuff. I think they were better with Barnes, as I've said before. But this isn't as technical as their newer stuff has been recently. There's a lot more concentrating on maybe more simplistic songwriting, trying to sort of catch the ear of the listener. You know, things that you can, dare I say it, hum along to. So it's a very good album. Pleased I own it, and really pleased I own it on rosewood vinyl. Now if anyone wants to get it on rosewood, as I say, there's only 300 of these. I bought this from emponline.co.uk, which sell t-shirts, vinyl, CDs, Blu-rays, metal stuff basically, jewellery. So if you want to try, I know it's still for sale, I don't know whether it's rosewood, but go and have a look. If you want to get a rosewood one, only 300, go along there and see if you can find one. Another band, which is a little bit different, is this. Now I've had this ages, I've had this since 2004. Really hard band to try and find vinyl for, or anything. A band called the Chasm, from Mexico City. Now, they were formed in 1992. Crushing death metal. This is on the Wicked World record label, which I think was an imprint of Earache. This was released in 2004. This is The Spell of Retribution album. It's nice graphics on this actually. It's very sort of Latin American style. There you go. They've spared no expense on the actual graphic work on this. It's got lyrics and so on and so forth. It's a standard black vinyl album. No, it has actually got a fault on the vinyl on this one. On the first track there is a manufacturing fault and there's 2 bumps in the vinyl. So you have to skip past the bumps, which is a bit of a problem. I don't know if anyone else has got this album. I bought it sealed and I decided I wasn't going to play it. I was going to listen to the CD version of it, which I had as well. So I only found out about the manufacturing fault fairly recently, so I don't know whether that was across the board or it's just I was unlucky with my pressing. So if anyone's got that, could you tell me? I'd be interested to know if that was a fault with this album. But it's this crushing South American death metal, grinding vocals, really good playing on this one. If you want to get into a band which has got really good players and good songwriting, the Chasm are certainly ones to consider. They have released a number of albums, but they're, as I said before, they're quite hard to find. They're quite hard to get hold of. But they have been going a number of years, these guys, as I say. They've been going 20 years now. So how many albums have they got actually? Let's have a look. Yeah, they must have about 8 to 10 LPs out. I believe most of them were issued on vinyl. You can certainly pick them up on CD, but you might have to pay quite a bit of money. You don't see this often on eBay, and when you do, it's going to be 40 quid to get hold of that. But apart from the manufacturing fault, it's pretty much in mint condition now, because it was sealed for so long. I physically didn't play the vinyl. I think I probably played it once or twice. So it's in great nick, shame about the manufacturing fault. Now the last thing I want to show you today is, now we're all fully aware of Earache Records. What they're doing is they're reissuing the back catalogue of Napalm Death. So starting with Scum, they released every album, or they're in the process of releasing every album. So far they've done Scum, From Enslavement to Obliteration, and Harmony Corruption. What they do is they release each one on 4 separate coloured vinyl. So they'll do one colour in 100 copies, the second colour in 200, the next colour in 400, the next colour in 1000. So there's about 2,500 pressed up. Now, I didn't bother with Scum, but I did pre-order From Enslavement to Obliteration on pink vinyl. Pink. Now there was only 100 made of these, and this is obviously one of those 100. So if you haven't seen this, this is a reissue, as I say. It's exactly the same as the original album on the inner sleeve. Exactly the same. I think it's a harder stock copy paper, but this is the pink sort of marble vinyl. There you go. So there's only 100 of these in the world, and I'm fortunate enough to get in there early and have that now in my possession. Now, when this album came out in '88, I remember watching a documentary on BBC in the UK, a programme called Arena, and it was the heavy metal special. If you look on YouTube and type in heavy metal special Arena heavy metal special, you can actually watch it on there. And Napalm Death were actually featured on there. They were showcasing some of their songs. I think the BBC went down to the UCLA in London and recorded some of the tracks, and it was unlike anything I'd ever heard before. Now bear in mind, around about that time, the most extreme thing I'd heard was The Trooper by Iron Maiden, maybe a bit of Slayer. So to hear somebody going, ooh, ooh, you know, was a little bit strange, and I wasn't sure if I liked it at first. But really, that sort of stuff and watching that show was my introduction to real extreme metal. So, and they were showcasing this album at the time. So if you want to watch a bit of grindcore history, check that out on YouTube, guys. But they have released this. I think it went pink, yellow, green and black in terms of the 4 different colours. But you can find out on the website. You can still get a black vinyl copy of this. If you want to get Harmony Corruption, they're taking pre-orders now, but I think the 100th colour, the most limited one, is now sold out. So you've got to be quick for the next one, which will be Utopia Banished, I think, which I'll try and get hold of because I've not got that on vinyl. But there you go. I like this one because the pink vinyl is offset against the pink background, so I like that very much indeed. So in terms of new stuff to show, guys, that's just a few little picks from the collection. Hope everyone's okay, and I shall be doing another video very, very soon. Have a fantastic week, and I'll try not to leave it too near or such a distance between videos. Now I know you guys want to have a little update from me, maybe a little bit sooner than 3-4 weeks, so I shall try my best to do one hopefully in the next week or 2. But have a great week, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.